Hello, I'm FIDE Master Corey Russell, and I have a game against an expert. He played pretty good and very consistent, actually, and he just fell out the finish line in the end game. So let's this game illustrates the importance of being consistent throughout the game, including the end game. It's really important to study all phases of the game. So in this case, I was black, and let's see what happened. He likes d4. So white is trying to establish, if he can, an ideal pawn center, which is for him d4 and e4, and for black e5 and d5. And the thing was, it's called ideal pawn center because from here, let's say black did this, um, it it restricts the opponent's pieces as well as you can use it as a springboard for attack if you're like rooks and queen are behind your opponents. So generally speaking, most openings either try to directly stop the pawn center, like with knight f6, which is what I do in this game, or they try to establish a pawn as center of their own to kind of counterbalance white's center. So in this case, I'm going to stop the ideal pawn center with knight f6. Attacking the center, it moves forward. Pretty common response. So we are playing the Benoni defense here. White, I would say white gets advantage pretty consistently. It is, however, inbounds opening. So black really needs to win. It's a pretty decent opening to try to do that with. It's inbounds, which is, I guess if you're trying to win, that's good. Rapidly castle. Bishop 4. Not really a lot of good options here. So 98 to defend the pawn. But the d6 pawn is an important pawn, so can't give it up. It has e3 because he doesn't want using d4 for my pieces. So really conservative move, but white still probably has an advantage here. So I want to get b5 in. And that would really help him if I could. So he, of course, stops it. I do b6 partly so that if he goes a5, I can b5 and push past, which would be good for me. Also, it allows my bishop to come out. He finishes development. White is slightly better, according to Fritz. That's a chess program. Finish my own development. So here I was threatening bishop takes c3, pawn take, and then bishop take pawn. So this one was a pawn, naturally, so we reinforced it. So here it's like, okay, I can't move this knight yet because of d6, but I gotta do something. Queen is nowhere particular to go of any use. So here I decided to do f5 because he can't get to e6. And this, if he tries e4, I'll take it and then give him isolated d pawn. Also have a threat. Let's say he moves his rook. I threaten here, here, and then loses bishop. So it not only gains space, has a threat to boot. So white stops it with put the rook back, h3, which is correct. You should stop that. So I can't move this knight until this guy's gone. So I gotta get rid of this guy, even if I get rid of the bishop pair, which is what I do. Because now a knight can move, and it needs to move. Well, first I'm gonna stop white from using b5 for his pieces. So I took a time out, and plus if he pushes past, again I'll push past myself, and that's good for me. It's good because his a pawn would be a weakness for the whole game. Plus it'll give me space too. He gets pressure in a6. Play through e4. I play for e4 as well. Okay, 2. I think this is primarily so he can move the knight if he wants to. He doesn't have to worry about the b pawn. Of course, now that I can finally move my knight, I go ahead and get him better square. I think he's thinking of maybe doing b4, depending on the circumstances. Now b4 wouldn't be quite so good because that would weaken his dark squares. And on defending 95, which if he doesn't do something about it, we'll get the bishop pair. And he loves his bishop pair, my opponent, so he instead takes some time out to keep his bishops. First, he moves his queen out of the way. Get tempo, it goes back to f1. Even though you may say, oh, it's passive square, but actually this is a very nice diagonal f1 to a6. So he's still doing a good job, even though he's back. It's just kind of the power of the bishop. They can be back, but yet still doing a productive job. So white is still probably a little bit better, but the game, but only a little bit. The game continues. So undo this because I want to get b5 in, get some space. Not sure exactly what that is. I think you might want to move the f pawn, so we want to be f4 at least as an option in case he wants to. In case I'm foolish, you don't give my rook knight any squares, right? For example, if I go here, my knight's trapped. So it gives him that option. Of course, I don't let my knight get trapped. That would not be good. So, in any case, I need some space, so I go for it. He takes, and of course, they go pawn. Takes a rook, take back. No, wait. So here, I didn't want my knight to be in the corner. So really, it's no choice but to trade the rooks. I don't really want to trade rooks, but I don't. My rook has nowhere else to go anyway, so I might as well trade. So Fritz says knight a4 is equal, and I would agree with that. Fritz point out an interesting point. Knight d4 and he's equal. Because knight's on d3 thing. Really sharp continuation. So here I thought for a long time, there's a combination to win a pawn. I could do this, for example. I can do this. Here, and he takes here. I can take here. And then he can go here. These open diagonals, no bishops. My knight is in danger of being picked off. I look like I'd be tied down like forever, like the rest of the game. And if I'm not careful, this queen can infiltrate, and I'm in really bad shape. I wasn't really enthusiastic about playing such a position, even up a pawn. I said, you know what? Let's just keep it level. I mean, I can still play for a win. You can still mess up the end game, which you did actually. So this ended up being a pretty good choice for me. Although Fritz does say we're equal now. I need to fix my knight. My knight's been a big problem this game. So he doesn't want to be tied down to this pawn, so he wants to get off the diagonal and then move this pawn, which makes sense. And then that way he's free to do other stuff. I want to get my king off this light squares, so that's part of the reason for the way bishop f6. So here, d9, e3. Also, I can go bishop e5 and take back with the queen. This d6 pawn, I really want to keep him there, partly to keep the strong defense of c5, and also to keep that d5 pawn blockaded. So it's important to not take back with the pawn, take back with the queen on e5, if at all possible. Okay, 1 second here. That's right. It's sure pins everything. So get off these light squares. Comes down, keeps pressuring my d6. So I'm happy to trade off his bishop. This pressure on d6 is killing me. I need to move my knight. It's also opened up f6 for my knight, so I was happy for this. So here, I'm trying to win, but that's the problem. I should just go king g8. I did king at h6 and realized after the move, he had a very strong move here, which would make white better. And white kind of saw it. He plays here. He's hoping for like here and like queen check. I got really bad issues with my kings on these squares, right? I can't go here, right? Because I lose my queens. That's not good. But go here, bishop check. Well, that looks pretty bad. Looks real nasty, actually. I go here, queen check. I mean, it's just one thing after another. So, um, so king h6 is just simply a mistake. And he sees the idea, but he's not doing it the right way. The correct way is he should go queen f7. Because now I can't stop him. I can't go queen g7, for example, and he just takes my knight, right? So I can't do that. So this would be very difficult for me. And he would have, according to Fritz, have a clear advantage, and I agree. He would have a clear advantage. But he didn't do that. He played queen e8, and that gives me a chance. Because now I can play queen e7, and now when I go knight f6, f8 is covered. There is no check. It's a completely different situation now that he doesn't have that check. So now he's hoping for queen h8. Of course, I blocked that too. So nope, I didn't get that either. He's trying to show up e3 because he wants the f pawn, but Fritz says queen a8 is a better try. Just keep me tied down. But that makes sense. He's trying to win when he probably should just try to hold at this point. It's funny, Fritz says queen a1 is equal. And now, Fritz says I have a clear advantage. Still battle though. Okay, now he can't take this queen, right? If he takes it, I'm throwing d3 and then queen. It's king too far away. And then here, and if he takes the pawn, slam, he can't even do this because slam, and he can't take the knight like queen. But if he takes a bishop pawn, this is bishop for a pawn or two. And so basically, he can't trade queens. It's devastating. He has to keep the queens on. So now that's my point. You can't trade. And so here, Fritz says king g6 keeps my advantage. I thought this is the same, but apparently it's not the same according to Fritz. Fritz disagrees. In fact, Fritz now says he's equal. I thought it was the best way to try to win. Fritz disagrees, but it just wants to do a bunch of trades since it's even. I don't want to do that. Here, f4 would have been a nice move for white and would have given him an advantage. He tried h4 instead, which is not as good. So the reason I took the pawn and let the check happen, because he has no more checks. I'm turning queen to e3, which would be very bad if he let me do it. So he has issues of his own. Although Fritz says king f2 to be equal, which makes sense. We did queen. And now h5. And now Fritz says I have a slight advantage here. Here he's worried about like f4, and then what does he do then? I guess a powerful knight in f4, but it's probably still even. But he was low time and he panicked, and finally makes a critical mistake, f4. And now I reroute the knight, and the threats of knight g4 is extremely powerful, and knight e4 too. Both are real strong. Outside of a knight, is kind of a powerhouse. So my knights were a problem for the whole game. Finally, are giving white trouble. By the way, it should be noted, in a queen endgame, and you have a minor piece, the queen and knight is almost always stronger than the queen and bishop. So if you must go into a queen endgame and you have a minor piece, do queen and knight, because usually that's stronger. They work better together, in essence. It's kind of like a rook and bishop work better together than a rook and knight. So white decides to keep the. He has to do something. I mean, he doesn't want me to go to e4, which makes sense. We should continue. Wait, is he out? Oh, with not quite. Sorry, I mean like this. queen e2, knight here, then here. So here, if I do like the pawn, he'll do take knight. I can't take my pawns, and I'd be destroyed. I've done a piece. So he has a threat basically. However, if I just get out of the pin, now he has the same problems, and not really any good solutions here. So I thought this check could be pretty handy. Thought this check could be handy. I'm threatening pawn to pawn, right? So he has to go king up to protect. This is check. So you got to take. So I was thinking, okay, if he does knight c3 come in, that'd be devastating. And so you pretty much have to take, check, backs off, takes the b pawn. And as it so happens, white lost on time here, but pretty clearly he has. I mean, this b pawn is only 3 squares away from queening, so his king's wide open. My king can hide behind my pawns ultimately, so it didn't matter. In any case, he lost on time, and that was that. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I'll see you guys next time.